Obviously, Luke Watkins and Sam Smith were supposed to be out this weekend fighting at the Oasis. Unfortunately, the show, was cancelled due to problems with the main event. What's the plan now for both of those guys?
We got both of them guys going on 7th of May up in London, York Hall, on a Steve Goodwin show.
It's a setback not fighting this weekend, but that's boxing, isn't it?
Listen, it's a setback, but if you've been in the game any amount of time, you expect everything to go wrong. And if nothing is going wrong, you know something's about to. So you can't. This is boxing. There will be injuries, or there will be guys not being able to fight because they didn't get a visa. Look at Rigondeaux. There'll be something happen, a show cancellation because of the main event. So you're on the undercard and it doesn't happen. These things happen. These things happen all the time, and you can't worry about them. You got to always have a contingency in place. And fighting up in the York Hall with Steve Goodwin show will be excellent. It's going to be great for both men. It's probably the most famous venue we have in Britain, so it'll be nice for them now to get up there into that cauldron and move on into the next one. It's only 6 weeks away. It's no time at all.
So you just kind of continue the training camp on, you maybe a few days off, to get over the fact that the show's off, but then, I
gave him a week off. Normally I wouldn't even give him a week off. You'd give him a few days off and say, let's get back to it. But I gave him a week off because they were both on peak. And it's not like we've, suspended it and they're going to be fighting in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They're going to be fighting 6.5. It was 7 weeks from last week. So give him a week off. Duke came in one day this week, just have a shakeout. Sniper came in one day this week, just have a shakeout, but that was it. One day within the week. They'll start back next week. Just relax their diet for a bit. Have a little bit of what they like, a bit of a burger or chocolate or something, and they'll be back in. But no, they were both sharp. They were both, very well prepared for the last one. So I told them the same way as I tell any fighter I'm working with. Your hardest fights are going to be the ones outside the ring, because the ones inside the ring are the one you prepare for every day. They're the ones you know how to handle, but it's the ones outside the ring. It's the injuries, it's problems with contracts, it's fights falling through, it's all of these things that you just don't expect, and you can't prepare for them until they happen that first time. These are excellent lessons to have, because it can happen in your career before your biggest fight. It can happen further down the road. And if you haven't had these stalls and upsets early on, then you got to deal with it then for the first time. Well, definitely with Duke, there's a lot of things that he doesn't have to deal with for the first time anymore. He's been through a lot in a short career, with burst eardrum twice, injury to his knee that kept him out for months because he had to have a little operation on it just before he turned pro. This cancellation. He missed 2 fights last year where he was supposed to fight in Ireland in the main event over here. There's not too much. It still annoys him, but it doesn't bother him. It doesn't get him down. And I'm blessed with Sniper too, because Sniper just took it on board for what it was. Okay, coach, got it. What's next? Told him. He's like, great, let's get with that. That's it, done.
It develops the character, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And mentally, although it's a setback now, it should shape them as a boxer and a man as they grow into their career.
Stress is good, man. I think stress is good. You lift weights in order to be able to get stronger. But when you lift a weight, it stresses the muscle. You stress it, then you rest it, then you feed it, and it gets stronger. And then that weight over time doesn't stress the muscle as much. So you take on more stress, heavier weight. And the only way you're going to strengthen the mind is by stressing it. It's not something that we want. Too much stress at any one time can be like lifting too much weight at any one time. You can rip something, tear something, and you can't go back to that for a long time. So too much stress mentally can do a lot of damage. But I like stress. I think it serves a great purpose. And if we can stress ourselves and put our fighters in stressful situations just enough that they can handle bit by bit, then take them away from it, feed it with the information they need, rest them and put them back in it. And that's what they are having to go through, not by choice, just by what the game presents. So they will grow from it.
And what's the plan for them for the rest of the year, and what do you see the pair of them achieving by December time?
I have 2 fights planned for them in before July. I have 2 fights planned for them. Then that will take Duke to 8 fights, 8-0. We do our job right. Sniper is on his second, so he will end up being 4-0 by July, and he only turned pro in December. So they're both in good places. Then Luke, from September, will be looking to push forward in the direction of the British title. And that might sound obvious because you think, well, that's obviously the route you're going to take. But, you know, we're looking at the English title fight that's happening tonight, Askin and Simon Barkley. That's definitely of interest to us, and it's not far away from us. And that's within, I said to you, within the next 12 months, I expect Duke to be fighting for the British title. And that's the goal. I have things planned for next year, but I don't want to talk about them yet until we have everything solidified. But we have these next 2 fights solidified, and then we move forward.
And you've got a new recruit into the Paddy Fitzpatrick stable as well?
Yeah, David Bailey from Bristol. He's Chris Saniger fighter. He came up to me. He fought Duke. He actually beat Duke in his last amateur fight. And he's just a thrill a minute. He is. You got to hold on to your seat, man, while he's fighting. I remember watching him in the amateurs, thinking, this dude's not supposed to be an amateur. He's supposed to be a pro. Now he's a pro. He's 3-0. He's looked after, like I said, by Chris Hanniger. He came up to me to do some sparring with Sniper, and then he said, could he come back and do a few more spars? Did. And then he said to me, would you be interested in taking me on as a coach? I said, you need to go speak to Chris, sort that out with his end. He came back to me saying, I've made my mind up, I want you to coach me. I said, no problem. So we took him on. We've been together for a few weeks now. He has his first fight with me April 16th in Bristol.
What weight does he campaign at?
Light heavyweight. So obviously him and Sniper can never happen, because if, you know, this is I have
do alternate rounds. You could do 1 round with one and 1 round with it.
There's I would always, I don't care what fighter came in and how much they were worth, the first one I'm with is the one that I would have to honour. So, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give David 100%. I am. They just can't fight each other. They'll have to go different routes, or one of them get there just before the other one and move on before the other one gets there. But I will always honour the first man I was with. And they don't have to. They don't have to fight each other. There's plenty enough going on within the light heavyweight division that they can get around each other.
And just
they could both be WBA champs and still not have to fight each other. We got 3 of them.
well, we've got too many titles anyway, haven't we? So and that's another Paddy's Day, I think, for another time. Just a little word on the amateur scene in Fitzpatrick's. You know, how are your amateurs coming along? You've got any future stars coming through? The next Luke Watkins, etc., etc.
It's buzzing. I'm really, really happy with it, man. We've linked up with Devices, so my guys fight for Devices Amateur Club, which is great because Paul, Mike, and all the guys down there do a fantastic job. They're true lovers of the amateur sport. They love it. I mean, Paul doesn't even know a pro boxer. If he does, he only knows 1 or 2. He just loves the amateur game. Same as Mike. You're allowed to box for another club. So we have our amateur coaches up here that look after them and develop them. And then they go down to Paul's regularly for sparring and to get to know Paul's coaches. Paul comes up here and then they fight under the Devices banner. And it's buzzing. I'm really happy for him, yeah, delighted. It's great. I love the youth coming in here.
So have you got any seniors that maybe in 12 months' time that may be turning over? Seniors
aren't interested in being in the amateurs. They're not. I have 2 guys that will be turning over pro this year. One has got his paperwork now, actually. He's just waiting to go through. And then the other one will be turning pro in December. But they do white collar at the moment for experience to get fights so that they can display in a fight what they're developing here in the gym. But they're just not interested in doing the amateurs no more.
Well, great to hear that it's buzzing, and you know we look forward to hearing more about that. You know, the fight between Spike and Eamon, and we look forward to seeing Luke and Sam out again, and of course your new recruit. So thanks for joining us, Paddy.
All right, brother. God bless. Yeah, man.
Cheers.